Welcome to the fundamental update for 1st of March 2026. And if you've been following the channel, you know I drop fundamental updates every single weekend, preparing you for the week. And I need you to pay close attention because this week is pretty much clear, and the bias would be very, very clear. The market will be filled with volatility, and those who are ready are going to make profits. Those who are following this channel, those who are going to listen to whatever I say in this fundamental update, are going to make profit this week. Before we go into that, we always look at what we had previously in the previous week. And first of all, let me brag a bit. I told you all that AUD USD is going to buy, that AUD economy is very, very much good. And what actually happened? We saw a very good buy at this particular zone. You understand? I knew this particular zone was going to hold. I gave it out since February 6th or February 10th to my students, and most of them made profit, not only on AUD USD, on other AUD currencies like GBP AUD sold, Euro AUD sold, all AUD correlated pairs showed strength on AUD. Do you understand? All AUD pairs showed strength on AUD. Why? Because AUD economy is doing pretty much great. But this week that bias changes. Do not try chasing it. It's already too late, because this week something terrible, I'll not say something good, something terrible happened, and I will explain everything in this fundamental update. But let us keep on looking at previous week. So my only focus was AUD pairs because USD was a bit confusing. I gave a bias on USD saying it's confusing, we should not really put our mind into it. JPY picked up strength a bit. You understand? JPY picked up strength a bit because they say they don't see reasons to cut interest rate, and they want to make sure that the Japanese yen gain a little bit strength because it has been weak for a very, very long period of time. And from what I'm drawing here, you can see this is forming a price action pattern. We can see, if possible, I think it's forming a what they call it, a triangle pattern, if possible. And if markets keep doing this, it has high chances of breaking in both sides. So we don't know if it will break up or if it will break down. But with the bias I have this week, I'm pretty much looking at an upward movement, and I will tell you why. So let us go to the economic calendar that occurred for this week and see what we had. We had AUD CPI coming out positive, giving more room for AUD bullishness. We had President Trump speak on Wednesday, and he gave out news about the tariff, and this actually gave a risk of environment in the US, and this made the yield to drop. I know some of you don't know what yield bond is, but if you're in fundamental class, you would understand better. So it also made dollar to be a little bit weak, so we are still expecting a buy on Euro USD. I also dropped this setup on my WhatsApp status last week. Now, a lot of you missed out on AUD USD. I always drop the signal on my status updates. Some of you don't even keep up with my WhatsApp status update. I'm here to tell you that if I don't have your contact, make sure to text me up, make sure to save it, and stay tuned to whatever I'll be posting, because I usually give signals in 4 hours time frame, and those who follow it will make huge amount of profit. You understand? So AUD was positive, is no longer positive. I'll tell you why. You should be careful about AUD now. Well, USD is actually still weak. We're expecting a rate cut. We had core PPMI coming out positive, which prevented dollar from being weak last week very well. But we still had a little bit of weakness. If we look at Euro USD, I gave a buyer saying Euro USD is going to reach this particular key level, and we are going to see a little bit of reaction, and that is exactly what is happening. Now, is it time to buy yet? No, because we haven't gotten a confirmation that this is a buy zone yet. It is still neutral, because we can see that this is still a downtrend. Now, when will it be okay to buy? When this market has broken at least this high, when this high is broken, right? Because we don't know if this is just a liquidity sweep. So when this particular high is broken, let's say market does something like this, right, and then comes back for a retracement, that is when you should look for a buy to the top side. You understand? So what is the thing we should be expecting this week? What is the major market theme for this week? Well, this market theme for this week is risk off. We are currently having war. The Israel and US teamed up to fight against the Iran, and we are currently on a risk off environment. What does this mean? It's pretty simple. No need to have a long talk. since the market is focused on war, all investors will be removing their money. All investors will be removing their money and putting on risk-off currencies. What are risk-off currencies? Risk-off currencies are currencies that do well during times of economic uncertainty, during times of war, during times of political uncertainty. So currencies or commodities like gold, like the dollar, like the Japanese yen. That's my favorite. I remember last year, I and my students were just making pretty good money at the beginning of the year from Japanese yen, knowing that the economy was at a risk off. You understand? So currently we are at that risk off again. What does this mean? First of all, it means that gold is going to be pretty much bullish. We should keep expecting a buy on gold, right? That is simply what is going to be happening. Gold is going to be pumping to the sky. Dollar. Now, dollar is a risk of currency, but I'm not really sure if dollar will pick up strength. Why? Because we're expecting a lot of downside on the dollar. Trump is against the dollar. The yield is against dollar. We're still expecting a rate cut on dollar. So dollar might be weak, but gold is definitely going to buy. If you find a buy entry on gold, hold it if possible. Right? Hold it. You don't know what will happen. So we also have Japanese yen. Let us look at the USD JPY. I'm not really seeing entry on JPY pairs. I said that last week. So I'm not really seeing any entry. But what will happen? We should be expecting a sell, while JPY pairs used to be strong during times of economic uncertainty. Also, we have CAD JPY. CAD JPY is going to also be selling because JPY itself is usually strong during times of economic uncertainty. So all the JPY pairs that have JPY as a quoted currency might actually start selling, because that's the expectation. The war has already started. So once the week open, we might see a little bit of drop on, especially gold. Gold will actually rise. You see a little bit of drop on dollar. We might see, if dollar is weak, we might see Euro USD buying. Do you understand? Euro USD will start buying, NZD USD will start buying. Now, why did I say you should avoid AUD? AUD is a risk on commodity. Do you understand? AUD itself is a risk on commodity. So as NZD. So AUD that was positive last week might not be positive this week because of the war that is going on. Investors will start removing their money from AUD and start putting it on gold. Do you understand? And start putting it on silver and buying all these things. Do you get even crypto too will fall because crypto don't do well during times of risks of environment. Do you get? So NZD2 will fall. We might see a little bit of sell on NZD USD. I'm not really sure, but since USD is paired with NZD, if both of them are weak, the market will actually keep ranging, and that is what it has been doing. We have seen a range in this pair, and I don't see any possibility of any entry. So with this information, it's not really much happening this week, but just know that we're having war this week. So you should just be careful, know how you want to trade. Let us go back to the economic calendar we have for this month, right? For this week. So just be careful, know how you're going to trade. Now let's look at the important news we have for this week. Well, the JPY BOJ government you didn't speak is important. The non-farm payroll, which is on Friday, is actually still important, even though investors are not really focused on this. They're focused on the war. Now, when will this war end? I don't know. But for now, I need you to just, anybody that knows fundamentals very well, hold the person tight. If it's me that knows fundamental very well, hold me tight, because I'll be dropping fundamental updates in Telegram channel and also in my WhatsApp status. You can be asking me your questions if the war is over, if anything will happen. That's just the privilege I give to you all on Sunday. After that, those that ask questions and I can answer are my students. If you want to become a student of mine, you know what to do. I cannot keep saying the same thing over and over again. So if you like what I'm doing, just support by following the channel, and also make sure to drop your question or drop whatever analysis you want me to do for you this particular weekend. With that being said, have a lovely week ahead, and remember, AUD might be weak, dollar is definitely going to be weak, JPY is strong. That's if the war continues. Focus on gold. Gold is actually a very, very good commodity which would actually pump. Do you understand? Also silver as well, and the rest. With that being said, in case you have any other question, make sure to ask me. Crypto is going to be weak as well, and make sure to have a lovely trading week ahead. The next I'm going to be doing is dropping the VIP signal updates for my signal team. In case you want to be part of us, you know what to do. Hit me up on my WhatsApp contacts and ask for the details. I'll send it to you. Have a lovely week ahead.